How's it going, everybody? Oops, sorry about that again. How's it going, everybody? I'm the BTC Reaper. My goal on this channel is to teach you how to reap the rewards of trading when the price is going up or down. Over on Dixie for the daily, our stochastic is trying to push forward. We do have our orange trying to cross blue, so we are our blue trying to cross orange. Sorry, I said that inverse. We have our blue trying to get above the orange as a bullish cross. That bullish cross does want to push us forward. That can give our size strength and help push price forward, but we did run up and tried to hit that EMA and we got rejected. We did not make that rounding bottom, so I would watch. If we don't get a strong green candle here, we could still round away and see crypto push forward. But if we do continue to push forward here, I would watch. Usually crypto and Dixie are inverse, so if we do push forward here, we could see crypto start to pull back. Our VWAP is favoring bearish. Momentum is pushing down. We do have a green dot though, as that VWAP does want to break up. If that VWAP can hold, we could continue forward. Money flow is bearish, but again, if that VWAP gains strength, our money flow could start to gain strength as well. Over on the 4-hour, VWAP is trying to break, so watch that very close. Money flow is indecisive, and momentum is staying bullish. Watch that VWAP. If it can break bullish and hold, then we could continue forward here. So we will jump over to dominance. Dominance is continuing forward. We do have a bit of a breakdown today, so we are rejecting that like 58-60% area. So we did see a rejection from there. EMAs are starting to cross each other. Watch that close. As those EMAs cross, it does give us that bearish cross to push us lower. Stochastic is pulling back. RSI is following as a result, leading price lower. VWAP is breaking bearish, momentum is running, and money flow is losing strength. If that VWAP does not reverse, dominance likely will continue to slip. That means our altcoins will start to outperform Bitcoin. So speaking of altcoins, we are breaking that resistance area. We did get confirmation of a bounce off our triangle, so this would be where you would want to watch for that break above our golden pocket and the continuation to push around that 700 billion. If we can continue up there, that would be positive, and again, we could revisit some highs on our altcoins. Our stochastic does want to pull back. RSI is starting to weaken though. Keep an eye on them. VWAP is starting to pull back. Watch as we made a weak wave here. If we see a lower low here, momentum will break, money flow will break, and we will start to drop. So while we did get that bounce with this green candle, I would still watch lower time frames, see if they're more bullish. If they're favoring a little more bullish, we could continue up. Over on the 4-hour, we do have some consistent lows and highs. I would watch. These could connect. So the highs and lows do connect pretty decent. It does give us a rising channel. This was our third touch to the top. So I would watch. If we break that support of that 602, we could end up breaking down, pushing back to our triangle, and continuing lower. But as long as we stay above this support area and get higher highs with higher lows, we can continue forward. So I would watch for that. Over on the 2-hour here, our VWAP is getting lower highs. We did break for a lower low, so I would watch. If we break here and hold, momentum will break down, money flow will weaken, and we will slip. However, if that VWAP can make a bounce and get a higher high with this higher low, potential higher low, then we could push up. Over on the 1-hour here, we are continuing further above our EMAs. This is positive. As we continue above these lower EMAs, we can continue that in higher time frames. Momentum is starting to push down. VWAP is pulling back. Money flow is weakening. Watch that VWAP. If it doesn't make a higher low here and then follow with a higher high, we will see that momentum start to push down and money flow could flip, and we could see our altcoins start to sell off a little bit. So I would exercise caution. Remember, dominance doing better and total doing better than Bitcoin doesn't mean total has to increase. It just means Bitcoin would decrease faster than our total there. So our stochastic doesn't want around here. RSI is pretty flat. Watch that stochastic. If our RSI continues to drop here, that will lead price lower just below that point control. Our momentum does want to round. VWAP is pulling back and money flow is in the bearish territory. I would watch. If we can't break above that 63.5 and hold soon, then it's likely we will continue lower here. Over on the 4-hour, we do have rising bottoms, and the tops kind of are flat. So you may draw a rising triangle here. To me, it's not very consistent here. These highs and lows connect a little too well back here to draw this out as a triangle, in my opinion. RSI is starting to weaken. Stochastic is dropping. Momentum is breaking down. A VWAP did break bullish, but now we're seeing a break to the bearish side. If we favor here, we will see the daily start to weaken and continue to drop away. Over on the 2-hour, momentum is overall weakening, VWAP is favoring bearish, momentum is breaking down, and money flow does want to weaken, so again, I would exercise caution there. Over on the 1 hour, we do have an EMA break. Watch for that green EMA to slip below the yellow. If we see that, we could continue lower, and futures does lead Bitcoin. Stochastic does want to push down, but we do have that blue trying to curl back up. Watch if we can cross and hold. If we can, we could push forward. If we don't, it's likely RSI will start to lead price lower, as that VWAP has lower lows with lower highs. If that VWAP stays bearish here, money flow will continue to weaken, and that will weaken our higher time frame. So over on Bitcoin for the daily, we had our flag, we got about a third of our breakup, and we did not get it. I would exercise caution at this point, and I would exercise against that flag breaking down. Our stochastic does want to round, momentum is rounding, VWAP is pulling back in, RSI is starting to weaken, so I would exercise caution that money flow is bearish, and if that VWAP doesn't break bullish soon, we could see that start to break us down. Over on the 4 hour here, stochastic is breaking down, RSI is starting to weaken, momentum is rounding, VWAP is favoring bearish. We did get technically a second touch here, so I would watch for a touch to the bottom. If we get that touch to the bottom and bounce, we could still continue to break up and continue forward. However, if we do not get that third touch to the bottom and we start looking our top and we start looking a little more bearish as we approach that bottom with that VWAP staying bearish, momentum weakening, and money flow pulling back, then we could still break down. Remember, just because we have a pattern doesn't mean it has to break up. We can still crash down, hit that 300 EMA, and retest it, especially with these EMA bands being as spread apart as they are. So over on the 2 hour, we are trying to hold above that support area. That is very positive. That's at 63.1. If we get a higher low here and confirm a higher high, then we could continue further. However, if we do not see that, again, watch for a push to the bottom and a breakdown. If we do not break down, then we need to break up at the next touch to the top. Stochastic is pulling back, RSI is weakening, momentum is rounding away, VWAP is favoring bearish, and money flow is slipping into the bearish territory. So if that VWAP does not reverse, momentum and money flow will continue lower. We're on the 1 hour, RSI is pulling back, stochastic's rounding, VWAP is favoring bearish, momentum is dropping, and money flow is pulling back. So overall, I would exercise caution. That could end up continuing to drop us lower, and we do have that green EMA below our blue, and it's trying to break the yellow. Again, if we break that yellow and we cannot break back above it and hold, then it's likely we could slip away here, getting lower highs and lower lows. If we see that on lower time frames, I would err on the side of caution. Over on graph for the daily, we are continuing to run up strong. Again, approaching our neckline, this is probably an area where you may want to take profit if you did not already. So we do want to push forward, but we're starting to struggle. Again, watch the rest of the market. VWAP does want to pull back, momentum is rounding, money flow does want to break bullish, RSI and stochastic are pretty maxed out, so the daily does look positive. I would watch those lower time frames though. Over on the 4 hour, we have a slight gap below, so I would watch for that 17, 11, 13. If we end up pushing that and then we bounce, we could continue further. However, if we push that and then we break, that's where we will retest that 16.316, and if we can't make a higher low there, then we can come crashing down. Stochastic is breaking down, RSI is starting to sell off, momentum wants to run with the red dot, VWAP is breaking down, and money flow is starting to go toward the red. So watch that VWAP close. If it favors bearish, we could see that money flow follow. Over on the 2 hour, we have higher highs with higher lows. We tried to make a lower low here, but now we have a higher high, so watch for higher lows above that. If we can continue with the higher highs and higher lows here, we will continue further. Again, if we don't, we're going to see that retest of those support areas. Momentum wants to round, stochastic and RSI are pulling back, VWAP is favoring bearish, and money flow is pulling back, so the 2 hour doesn't look very positive right now. Over on the 1 hour, we do have higher lows with consistent highs, slightly higher high here, but the current high doesn't look very strong. If we round away and reject our EMA here, we could make a lower low. If we make a lower low, with this being a lower high, that could create a new bearish trend to give us that push down. RSI is starting to slip, stochastic wants to round, momentum is breaking down, money flow is starting to curl, and that VWAP is favoring bearish. We're starting to reject that neutral. So if that VWAP does not break bullish and hold, it's likely we would end up seeing that breakdown. Over on Ankr for the daily, we did push that 30.79, so we did mention that was possible. Hopefully you got in on that and you sold there. Our stochastic does want to pull back, momentum is rounding, VWAP is starting to pull back, watch that close, money flow does want to go green, but if that VWAP breaks down, money flow will not be far behind. Over on the 4-hour, we have higher lows with higher highs, giving us that bullish pressure to continue forward. Again, watch for these to connect. They do somewhat connect, so if we can get these highs and lows to connect, that could break us down. Right now, they do not connect. That does create more of a bullish continuation. Remember, bullish continuation could help us break that resistance of our 3079 and continue further. Stochastic does want to pull back. RSI is weakening. Momentum is weakening. VWAP is pulling back. Money flow is bullish, but if that VWAP continues to weaken, we could see money flow weaken, just like this 2-hour. Our VWAP is breaking down, money flow is weakening, momentum's rounding, so I would keep an eye on things. RSI and stochastic are dropping as well, and that will lead price lower if that VWAP does not reverse. Over on the 1-hour, RSI is pulling back, momentum is crashing down, stochastic is dropping, VWAP is favoring bearish, our money flow is pulling back. Overall, that day 1 hour does not look very positive. We need to stay above that blue EMA, continuing higher lows with higher highs, and break and hold that 3079. If we don't do both of those things, then it's likely we will retest. Over on XRP for the daily, we did hit the top of our channel and we got rejected, so I would exercise caution because remember, a rising channel can break you down. Stochastic does want to pull back. Our RSI is starting to push down. Momentum has a red dot. VWAP is breaking down, causing money flow to sell off. So overall, we don't look very positive. Over on the 4-hour, we got 2 touches to the top. We will approach our 3rd touch to the bottom. If we do look bearish at that touch and we break down, watch for that confirmation where you get your retest and your rejection. If we do that, we're going to continue toward that 54. However, if we approach the bottom and gain bullish momentum, then we can invalidate and push forward. RSI wants to pull back, stochastic is starting to push down, VWAP is favoring bearish, momentum is dropping as a result, and money flow is selling off. If that VWAP does not reverse, we likely will continue lower here. Over on the 2-hour, I just messed everything up. There we go. Over on the 2-hour, we are continuing to reject EMAs. Watch for that to continue. If we continue falling below EMAs, we could fall below our band and then continue lower here. RSI and stochastic are selling off. VWAP is favoring bearish with lower highs and consistent lows. Momentum is breaking down and money flow is rejecting. So overall, we don't look very positive there. Over on the 1-hour, we are seeing lower highs with lower lows. This is a bit of a bearish trend. Keep an eye on this as that can continue to push us toward that EMA. And if we don't bounce off that 57,865 area, then we will continue lower. Stochastic does want to round away. RSI is selling off. VWAP is favoring bearish, causing momentum and money flow to sell off. So the hour does not look very positive. And if this bearish momentum continues, higher time frames will start to get weakened. Finally, last but not least, we have ALGO for the daily. Since there's no special requests, we do have a higher high with higher lows, but we're struggling to hold above the 1350. Stochastic wants to pull back, RSI is pulling back, momentum is starting to round out, and VWAP is starting to push down. Watch for a break of that neutral. If we break neutral here, we could see the bears gain control. We need a higher low here to continue our bullish trend. If we get a higher low on that VWAP, then we can push forward. Over on the 4-hour, we do have a bit of a bearish trend that did try to form here. We ran up, invalidated, held our 300 EMA, but we have not been able to break and hold that 1350. Watch that very close. RSI is pulling back, stochastic is rounding, momentum has a red dot as VWAP wants to break down and money flow is selling off. So if this does not reverse, we're likely going to continue to that 300 EMA, possibly around that 1288 zone. Stochastic does want to pull back on the 2-hour. RSI is selling off. Momentum is rounding. VWAP has lower highs with lower lows, pushing that momentum and money flow lower. If that does not reverse, we will start to see a sell-off. Finally, last but not least, over on the 1-hour, we could have a bit of maybe a shoulder, a head, and a shoulder here that could try to push us down. It would be a very sloppy one. Stochastic does want to pull back. Momentum is starting to sell off. Watch that VWAP. We have lower lows with lower highs. If that VWAP does not regain bullish territory, momentum will break down, money flow will start to follow, and price action will slip away here. If we cannot hold that 300 EMA, then that's where we can see those lower targets that we have been mentioning, like that 1175 and that 1032. Thank you for watching tonight's video. I hope you have a great